9:43 right now. We're having one last visit with Steve Ruddock, filling in for Laura DeAngelis this morning.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, guys? And we're at the WarPlane Heritage Museum, Carnation. We've got one more draw for $5,000 coming up in just a second. But first of all, we want to talk about Remembrance Day coming up this Sunday, and of course, a big enterprise going on here. And Dave Roy, the CEO, tell us a little bit, if you would, where the money goes from the Poppy Fund. Because we say, you know, buy a poppy. People are saying, you know, why should I buy a poppy? Why can't I use the same one every year? Where does the money go?
Well, it's very important you buy a poppy every year. The Royal Canadian Legion runs the Poppy Fund, and each branch uses that money in support of veterans' causes and military family funds. So it's very important that we honor our veterans and support them financially through this Poppy Fund drive.
So the money actually goes to families of veterans and the veterans themselves?
Yes, and for causes that they might have and representations with the government for their rights and for their coverages. So it's very important that that be funded.
Okay. Thank you, and looking forward to Sunday.
Yes.
And we have Malcolm with us. Now, Malcolm is a veteran of World War II in the RAF. I'll bet you cheated with your age, didn't you, when you signed up?
Wouldn't you?
I think you did, didn't you? I think you did.
It's a long story, but it was through the school system I was in, which had what we call the ROTC program, where you could elect, if you had the marks and the medical and everything, you could go through during your schooling holidays, your ground school and then your flight school. So you would be able, by the time you graduated, to have your pilot's license.
And then from there you went into the RAF as a pilot?
Already have applied to go into the RAF.
Right. Now, I just want to ask you, every year we celebrate Remembrance Day, and a lot of people are thinking at this point, you know, why do we keep doing this? Bringing back the pain, the agony of that time. But you say it's important we do that.
It is, and when I go into a school, for example, I will try and say to them, you know, you see the old man in front of you, well, he was young once, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Being young, and how did I get into the war? How did it affect me before I even got into the war in the Air Force? Because I lived in the country and it was being bombed and things like that. And I go through that and take them through from that age on up. And why should I do it? Because it is painful, very often. I do it because there are so many of us, they either aren't around or they've recently died, or they just don't want to do it. And that's particularly the bomber boys. They've been through so much. I was with Fighter Command in the 2nd Taft Air Force, and we were ground attack. So we could carry the war to the enemy. And we did a very effective job, I might say. So my main areas in the war started in the middle of January 45, right through until the end of the war, where we ended up in Oldenburg in Germany.
We have to, I want to talk longer, but we need to do one more draw. Would you work that with me? Sure. Come on over here. Let's do one more draw here. This again is $5,000. Customer Appreciation Day. So Malcolm, draw that name. And here we go.
Thank you, Malcolm. Okay, and the final winner is Michael Laurel. Michael Laurel, congratulations. You won $5,000.
Okay. We've got one more special presentation here, and we'll be back in just maybe 8 or 9 minutes for that. So we'll see you in just a few minutes for that big presentation.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Well, Superstorm... Why am I having... Okay, the big storm was the star of Saturday.